What up, party people? This is Jam at Peaceful Media. You are in the Freedom Lab. Whoa! I always like to wake up and do a little bit of Native American wind flute chanting. My wife hates it. She says, stop doing that in the shower. It bothers me. So I got to do like this muffled in the shower to keep it down. But you didn't come here to hear about my showering techniques. You came here to learn how we're launching Jimmy Ferris's online business and helping to create a six-figure online business in only 33 weeks. We have 33 episodes every Wednesday at 9 a.m. PST, 12 noon EST. We're here live. You can come join us at freedomlabshow.com. And today's episode is a hot one. I'm feeling really excited about this, Jimmy. Feeling really excited because this is a place where a lot of people going online with their business really struggle, and if I can be very blunt about this, fail. We've been talking, especially in those first episode 2, 3, and 4, we talked a lot about how to create that distinction for your brand in the marketplace full of people just out there vaguely saying, I'll help you get results. And this is where that rubber hits the road, because we're talking about how to put his message on a website that ultimately in this moment, it's a static communication of what this brand is all about. Now, I say that very clearly that it's a static in this moment because you'll always be iterating. The website will change, the homepage will change almost monthly if you're an active online business. If you're leaving things up there for years at a time, you are definitely in a stale place that people do not want to return and visit. So anyways, all that said, we're actually going to put some rubber on the road today. Jimmy has signed up for Peaceful Media's course, Launch 31, and got the bonus Resonant brand series, which talks about 6 different mediums of communication in an online business. 1 being copywriting, 2 being design, 3 being video, 4 being photography, 5 being social media, and 6 being your content marketing or ongoing marketing endeavor. And so Jimmy is about to drink from the fire hose. He really is. And something very exciting happened in this journey. We just hit a milestone, and I don't know, Jimmy, if we've recognized it enough, but I'm going to tie this milestone that you just hit with your mental toughness principle number 6 for us today. So why don't you go ahead and share your principle, and then I'll tie my milestone in.
Well, today we're going to talk about a very, very simple principle. It's something that most people were exposed to at a really early age, maybe sometime in grade school or by your parents even before that. And that is the topic or principle of goal setting. And the reason why I think it's important to address it and bring it up, not only because it's a fundamental building block of achievement, but also because there's so much confusion and misconception and quite frankly, just bad teaching about goals and the process of goal setting. The conventional wisdom that's out there right now centers around these idea of SMART goals, right? Where people always want you to set goals that are specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound or time-oriented. And I don't have a problem with the specific part or the time-bound, time-oriented part, but what I absolutely can't stand is the idea of goals that are attainable, realistic, even measurable to some degree, right? I subscribe more to kind of the what I call the Bob Proctor theory. He's the first guy that I heard say this about goals. I'm sure many other people have said it, but the idea that if your goals don't scare you, they're not big enough. And I think it's so important because so many people, we set goals that we already know or are pretty sure that we can probably achieve or attain, right? Or goals that people say, well, it's realistic for me, so I'm going to go for it. So, if you're 30 pounds overweight, setting a goal to lose 5 pounds, that's not really a goal. I mean, that's something that anybody can achieve if you skip one cheat day or clean up your diet for 1 day and get on a treadmill for 2 days. You can probably lose 5 pounds in some manner. You can figure out how to do that. But goal setting is a process where you need to be focusing on setting goals that you don't know how you can attain it. You don't know how you're going to achieve it. They scare the shit out of you, where you sit there at night and you're like, dude, I have no idea how this is going to work. And along that process, of setting a big major goal like that, you also have to set little smaller goals underneath that. And sometimes they can even be almost like to-do list items, something you can check off of a to-do list so you can, celebrate small victories along the way, so that you're not just working for 6 months and feeling like you haven't accomplished anything because you haven't accomplished that big, huge overarching goal. So really, this is something that we'll dive into. And of course, in the mental toughness content, it's really kind of fleshed out. But the idea is to set a huge goal, something that you want, something that you really want to accomplish, not something that you can say now, well, I think I can do that, or that looks reasonable or attainable. None of that matters. What matters is setting a goal that's in accordance with something that you want. If you want to be a millionaire, or you want to be a CEO, or you want to lose 100 pounds, make that the goal. Don't look at it and say, well, I'm 40 years old. It's probably not realistic that, I can become a millionaire at this point. Or, it's probably not realistic that I can lose 100 pounds. That's bullshit. It doesn't matter if you think it's realistic. Set a goal that is in line with something that you want. And then we'll go about the process of putting some things in place, a little measuring sticks or little goals or little to-do list items along the way to help you stay on track, to help you get that sense of achievement along the way as you check these things off your list, and celebrate those small victories that are building you towards that big victory and that big achievement. That's really what it's all about.
I love working with people like you, man, that just have that big vision. And so often, a lot of them come to us. That is the sort of state of mind people are in when they come out of any of like Brendan Burchard's events, or anybody that's teaching online marketing and business development. They come out and their eyes are big and they're like, oh, this is so cool. I'm going to be there where Brendan and Jeff Walker and these big people are. I can see it in my mind. And then what happens is, what the unfortunate piece is that they tend to not, some people don't recognize those little measuring sticks or those little milestones that you talked about along the way that are extremely significant. Because each of these big goals, you may not know every step, but there are definite cues in an online business trajectory that you're doing something right. One would be getting a testimonial. Like, someone is so happy with your product, service, widget, whatever, that they say, look, I would happily endorse this. I would go, give me a place to give you a 5-star review and write something about your brand or your product. Like, Don, is there anything else I can do for you? Can I refer people to this? That's a huge milestone in any business. The other is, particularly for this online business development, getting your first check from an online business transaction.
I was going to say, in this world, in the professional development or coaching or expert world, getting your first client, like you said, I went through that some years ago when I first kind of jumped into the business back in 2010, and I really wasn't ready to do it. I didn't have the belief that I really could do it. And, part of that centered around having my mindset so big. I'm watching somebody like Tony on stage. I'm like, man, I want to do that. And then I forget that, well, man, to do that, you got to get your first client, to do that, you got to get your first paid gig. And so that in and of itself is a smaller goal that's related to the bigger picture. But in reality, that's a huge, huge thing. That's a huge victory when you get that first paying client.
Oh yeah, man. There's so much packed into that. To be able to go through a journey with a client, especially for coaches, and hear on the other side of your process or coaching process that, look, man, I'm a different person because of this. I would have paid twice as much. There's so many micro wins on that way to the Tony Robbins stage.
No question.
So I want to recognize you, Jimmy, because, I don't think you have fully embraced technology. which is ironic because you're getting into an online business. Like that's something where you're really pushing yourself. Last week we talked about paying the price. And little things are popping up here and there, like, fuck, who can I call?
Right.
Right. And yet you pushed through it, and you got an affiliate link. This was sort of just sort of a backdoor process for us, but I wanted you to get that sense of there's an income stream here in just being an affiliate and referring people. By having influence online, you have the ability, with no products or services of your own, to make a lot of money. There are people making millions every month, every year, every day sometimes, just by gaining influence and becoming a thought leader in a particular niche and sharing products that work for them. Done. I mean, you see Olympic athletes who are sponsored. It's the same thing. They have chosen a particular product that they want to represent, and they're getting paid for referring audiences to that product. It's no different. This is just the online version of that. It's called affiliate marketing or referral marketing. And so, Jimmy, you signed up to become an affiliate for Peaceful University and used your own affiliate link to go and purchase Launch 31, which I told you to do. Some people think that's a little awkward, and like, is the company going to see that I'm basically just getting a kickback on my own purchase?
Right.
And just to be transparent with you, we price things accordingly. We price things knowing that we're going to have affiliates and referral partners out there sharing. And so there is a margin built in for that. So wise play. I don't know if that's ethical across the entire industry, but I'm all for it. And plus, I just wanted you to experience that. I know you didn't have to do a whole lot of work here for this one, but I want you to experience that check coming to you and putting that into our spending and income report. I'm going to count that today as a milestone win. That is your first online business transaction, pure.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, and it was, obviously, like I said, that part was easy because, I wanted to purchase the product and kind of go through the training. But kind of the bigger picture on some of this, you kind of led this off by saying, that I'm embracing, technology and this form of media. And, the reason why I want to bring this up is because I feel like there may be a lot of people out there in the world going through this process.
Amen.
That come from a different background where this is not their specialty. I mean, I'm a tech guy. Like, I love, the latest and greatest technology stuff, but not in the respect of using it in this way to generate income for myself. I'm used to, if you look at my world, college football and then pro football, I'm used to plugging into an entity that already has all of these other things in place. We've talked about this a little bit before, where they say, okay, here's what you do, so you do that. And then we've got a guy up in an office somewhere that's worrying about the marketing aspect. We got a guy somewhere that's worrying about, the content that's going to be put out about, the Falcons football team. We've got another guy that's doing payroll. We've got another guy doing that. And so, in my few experiences in entrepreneurship and small business, quite frankly, that has been one of the things that I've struggled with is the idea of wearing all of the hats. Mm-hmm. And I'm struggling with that process a little bit now too, because I've still got my coaching clients. I'm still doing about one speaking gig a month that I've got to prepare for. I'm trying to now learn how to build a website and get this stuff out there. All these different things they're coming at me, and I just feel like, Jesus, I don't know when I'm gonna, I got to totally turn off the focus on one thing and focus on another. And so, it is a little bit of a process. And so I think it's good that I'm going through it, and I hope that through this process, our viewers will gain some insight into how they can do it also, if you're a little bit nervous about it.
Yeah, man. And that is a common through line. In fact, I would say the majority of people have far less time and have to make far more sacrifices in order to make this work on a budget. You know what I'm saying?
No question.
And I would say beyond budget, because I know we set this $10,000 arbitrary budget for ourselves over these 33 weeks. That's the amount we decided you could spend, so that this is useful for people who don't have an NFL career in their background and a chunk of change in their banking account, right? So, you know, these people are typically, they come to us with a 9-to-5, with 2-3 kids, a husband or wife, or both. No, I guess not both.
Either or.
You know, they have freaking things to balance, and there's about this much time in their day to go out and make this dream happen. And so I want to recognize those people on this show who are watching this show and learning as they go, and just hustling. Like, watching this 45-minute show is all they can freaking muster, and they've got a kid jumping on their leg at the same time, and the noodles are exploding on the stove at the same time. So man, I'm glad that you're going through a little bit of that burn, because that's what's going to resonate for folks who are out there hustling.
Sure.
And I want to make this more than is just to save money, because it is more than just saving money. The successful people we work with, are particularly Brendan Burchard and Jeff Walker, they are so close to their customers and audiences that for 10 plus years, they've written every email. They've written the copy for their websites. They've written their social media. They've created their social media. So you want to talk about like the payoff of the DIY. This, I call it like a DIY revolution. It's a U economy, as you're talking about. It's that the advantage of this is being super close to the reactions and responses and needs of people who need you, want you, and will pay for you. Does that make sense?
No, absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, I've got a little bit of experience with that from, you know, running campaigns and things like that. You know, I mean, there's always people out there, you know, that handle press releases and marketing and speech writing and things like that. But, you know, I was fortunate that I had a couple people around me that really got me and understood me. And so together we could put together some great content, and it was always really authentic, because I wasn't reading a speech or something that was just written for me, or I wasn't just reading a statement that somebody else wrote for me. And I think, you know, in this business, it's every bit as important for people to feel like when they read something on your website, they're reading it as if you were speaking it. And people that know you should be able to go to your website or your social media and say, oh yeah, that's definitely him. That's definitely his post, or that's definitely, you know, his thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah. And then what's happening there is you have this body of work, or this, basically a body of work and a body of your tone and message and the way you do your online communications, that someone down the road, I mean, you could, after these 33 weeks, you could say, I built that body of work. I'm ready for someone else to run this stuff, right? So now they can look back and say, oh, yeah. Okay, here's the nuances. Here's how I swim in Jimmy's voice. Make sense?
Absolutely.
All right, man. So what happened when you signed up for Launch 31? I just want to make sure that you're inside the modules. What do you have access to now?
I'd have to look off the top of my head. Like I got. Let me find this here, if I can.
So while you're looking, so Launch 31 is sort of a step-by-step blueprint for creating your marketing website. It's something that we've created for people who are out there hustling, trying to get a thought leadership online system, like a simple little marketing funnel, lead generation website out in the marketplace as quickly as possible, as expertly as possible, being right in that gap between marketing strategy and implementation is where this course lands squarely. So it's very exciting. People are sending some crazy rich testimonials that I shared with you, Jimmy. It was just like, what? We did it, you know? So now Jimmy has access to that. And as I said earlier, the bonus is the Resonant brand series with each of those 6 mediums. And I believe, Jimmy, that immediately you're receiving the Resonant brand series module about copywriting, which is a doozy. So that's a great goal for you to, before our next episode, to have that in the can done. These are going to start coming at you pretty quickly. So I know you're going to be hustling to get this done, because I think in 2 days, another one's going to unlock for you. And I believe that one is photography. So that'll help you go out there and get the perfect photo shoot for your thought leadership brand. Because as you know, a lot of our websites today is in the expert thought leader personal name brand thing are exposing a brilliant photo or video of you, or multiple photos and videos of you that demonstrate who you are.
Is that the prep steps, the pre-31 prep steps deal?
So Launch 31 prep steps are the Launch 31 course itself. You get some prep steps in there. You want to go through those, and you'll see one of those says, make sure that you go over here to your bonus Resonant brand series and start watching those.
So what I'm seeing on my, in my library, basically, and I click on Launch 31, I see it says start here, and then it's got the welcome and orientation. And then the next little tabs say the pre-31 prep steps, and then it says launch action step day 1, day 2, and those all say coming soon.
Yep. So we create a 14-day buffer for you to get your content dialed in.
Okay.
Where we give you the 11-page content blueprint. You've probably seen that one there, where we walk you through the 11 pages, the essential 11 pages that all thought leaders need on their websites.
Okay.
You see that?
I don't know which one it is. No, I don't see it.
Okay.
But I mean, it's
in there.
Yeah,
and
I'll find it.
Go up to you're inside of our course. Our university is called Peaceful University. If you go up to a tab called My Library, you're going to see, when you click to My Library, you'll see that you have access to Resonant brand series as well.
Yes, I see. Yep, Launch 31 and Resonant brand.
Yep. So do the prep steps in Launch 31, and then just know in 14 days, the actual implementation of your website copy and content, images, and all that stuff is going to start in 14 days. So that's why you got to hustle and get that Resonant brand series started. And
so do these things like unlock as I do them? So I go through the orientation and do that, and then the prep steps will unlock for me. Is that how that works?
No, it just depends. Some of it is a time delay thing, on a day's delay.
Gotcha.
Because I didn't want people jumping into implementation before they have strategically written copy, photography, all that stuff.
Right. That makes sense.
Yep. So I would recommend getting that 11-page content blueprint we put together for you. It's a PDF, and pairing that up with the first Resonant brand series module on copywriting, marketing copywriting.
Cool.
And in that spirit, let's talk about some ideas for your homepage. Just kind of brainstorming what, thinking through all these last 4 episodes in particular, we really got pretty crystal clear on who your niche is. Well, and the 2 segments within this niche. Do you want to just catch people up real quickly on what those 2 segments and which niche we're talking about?
Yeah, we're talking about kind of the mental toughness. We talked about kind of exactly what to call it, but talking about focusing on those athletes, like high school, more predominantly, and college type athletes, but the idea of creating a program that can help high school athletes become irresistible recruits for college recruiters. And so really the 2 components of it are the high school athletes themselves and then their parents. And so we're really marketing to 2 different types of people. Obviously the high school kids have to want it, and the parents have to be sold on it because they're going to write the check, right? So they have to see the benefit. So we're trying to create a product or a program that, you know, two people in two totally different worlds and mindsets really are both going to buy into. And so it's a little bit of a challenge, but you know, what I found is that most parents, you know, are willing and if they're able, will do whatever they can to help their kids be as successful as possible. And so these things, there's a lot of synergy there. They really come together pretty well.
Yeah, man, I don't see this as a challenge at all. Now, everyone who's watching this, do you hear the clarity in Jimmy's voice? I mean, you may have no interest in becoming a college athlete, a scholarship paid, you know, college athlete, get your tuition covered, all that stuff. You may have no interest whatsoever, but would you know some people on your block to refer to Jimmy because he's so freaking clear about what he's helping them do and who he's helping? The answer is obviously yes. And that is part of creating that resonance and distinction and brand. This is branding. People know who to refer you to and why. And they also understand what makes Jimmy different. So Joe Blow, you know, 55-year-old coach down the street, you know, I was a college recruiter. I can teach you how to, you know, stand out in the college athlete or high school athlete market. So what's going to make Jimmy different? He did it.
Right. Right.
He came from nothing. He came from nothing but 150 pounds of skinny flesh, all the way to balling out at probably 225 pounds of super lean, fast muscle in next to the big dogs of the NFL, the legends of the NFL catching, I don't know, practice or game teeters from Tom Brady and Mike Vick and all these cats. So this is a guy who's been in the trenches, and there's nobody more influential or resonant than someone who's done the freaking work. You can be a journalist / reporter type of expert, or you can be the person who's done it, paid the price, and came back on the other side with a gold medal and said, I'll show you exactly which steps I took. Make sense?
Yeah, I think it's really important that you bring that up because, you know, it's possible, obviously it's possible to do it and be successful in a given space without, you know, having the, you know, actual personal experience of doing it. You know, I remember being a player, one of the things we always critiqued coaches on basically, or one of the things that always helped coaches with their credibility was whether or not they actually played the game or played the position that they were coaching. And usually that was a big factor, but I can say some of the better coaches I had were guys who didn't play the position that they were coaching, but they put in the time and done the work to understand the position and understand, you know, what they were trying to communicate. But to your point, obviously in this situation, people are automatically going to be more inclined to buy into something or somebody who's done exactly what they're talking about. I remember when I was running for office, I was getting advice from all of these people in Idaho politics that had never won an election, you know. And I kept saying to these guys, like, they kept saying, no, you're doing it wrong. You need to do this and that. And I kept saying, well, I respect you and I appreciate your opinion, but you lost. Like you got hammered. So, you know, I want to hear from people who've done it, who did it and won, who did it the right way. And so that's what we can bring to the table with this. You want to talk about, you know, like Jason said, you know, I was a guy who didn't really get heavily recruited at all and was able to, you know, over the course of some months, work my way into getting a scholarship from the University of Montana. Had a lot of help to do it, but I know what that process takes. And being on the other side of it, I know what coaches are looking for. I know what recruiters are looking for. And so, you know, that's part of the process is having that credibility. And
you're going to dive deeper into that knowledge as you get into this, Jimmy. You're going to be interviewing. You could start a podcast right now interviewing the top recruiters out there, or any freaking recruiter for that matter, on what they're looking for.
Well, again, the goal is, just kind of to put the big picture on the whole thing. I mean, this is the entry point, right? This is where we are saying we're going to enter the market here, because my goal obviously is to, enter here, get incredible results for these kids, and then, start that process of building on that, start having people or some of these parents say, well, hey, what you did for my kid was awesome. I'm kind of in a position where I'm looking to change careers, or I'm looking to get a new job. Does your program work to help make me an irresistible employee, or an irresistible candidate for a different job? And the answer is absolutely. So we're trying to create a program that has a blueprint that you can say, yes, it worked for high school athletes trying to get to college and get a scholarship. Yes, it works for kids coming out of college looking to get their first job. Yes, it works for people that have been at the same company for 20 years that hate their job and they want to make a change. This is how we're going to build this thing out. Yes,
man. It's perfect. So we got our eyes on the prize, but we know we're going to hit it hard with a niche. Very, very smart way to enter an online business market. So let me share some thoughts about your homepage experience. And before we go and blow out a huge site, I think I really want to get you a page that converts in the interim. We call it a cover page in the technology you're going to be using, where it's basically a landing page. And there's a few things we have to accomplish with that landing page. I'll start with the ultimate goal at this moment is to get a conversion. In this particular venue, a conversion is someone who signs up for your email list. Because we don't have a product, there's no conversion beyond that. That's a sort of future conversion of they become a customer of your eventual program. But for the moment, you're signing up for a wait list or a newsletter list or something along those lines, so that people can at least learn when that program is available, or just freaking learn more about you in general. In exchange for that, we're going to give them some immediate value. And that's what we talked about last week with your lead generation magnet, or LGM. And we talked about the keeping it real short. Maybe we talked about this offline. I can't remember. Keeping it short is actually working really well today. I think you brought up, maybe I should get my 33 mental toughness stuff down on paper and give away like a ebook or something. And I'm like, that worked about 5 years ago really well, when people were like, ooh, ebooks. Oh God, I can't wait to get my free ebook. And then these days, people's attention spans aren't ready for an ebook yet. They just want something to quick hit, checklist, quick guidebook, infographics, that kind of thing. So in Launch 31, I'll show you exactly how to go and create that thing. I'll actually give you the templates for it, and designing it today with some tools I'll show you how to use. It's freaking as easy as can be. Okay. So that's our goal, our end goal here, our conversion. In order to get there, we have some micro steps. Speaking to the whole principle this morning about setting a goal. That's the big goal, micro steps along the way. In order to create a conversion like this, it's not a big ask. We're asking for a name and email. So, or just an email in this case, big deal. But we have to establish just enough credibility and just enough resonance to make this appear very relevant to the person who's landed. So, and this will get a little bit uncomfortable, Jimmy, because it's your name. It's your one experience of your name online, your jimmyferris.com. And it's going to be freaking niched. And then maybe next year, we expand that to include all the parents who are on the sidelines of watching their kids play in college ball or play in college hoops or whatever it is.
Right.
Cool. So here's a simple, you know what tagline slogans are for those who are new to this. I mean, the heroes of taglines and advertising agencies out there, companies that just have something that killer is like Nike's just do it. What else? I was going to share some other ones from my phone, but it died. But we want that sort of, what is the overarching tagline slogan? It's not critical for being an online business anymore, but nevertheless, I got something that might encompass you just in the long vision of the Jimmy Ferris brand. What do you think about Get It?
Oh, I love it. Yeah, it's short, sweet. I mean, it's perfect.
Get it. Okay. What do you think about a headline? What do you think about a headline that says, "Get the blue chip mindset"?
It's amazing. Yeah, that's great. I love that. I'm mad I didn't think of that.
What do you think about the subheadline that says, "I show young athletes how to be a dream recruit so they can get the college scholarship"?
Perfect. I mean, I think you talk about being clear, being specific, people landing on your page and saying, "Oh, I know exactly what this guy does." It's all of it right there. Yes.
Cool. And so the people that are watching this is something that Brendan and many other marketers teach, but he calls it the Expert Positioning Statement at Experts Academy. A great course. I show X how to be, do, have Y so that Z. So you can hear that in there. I show young athletes, youth athletes, high school athletes. You can play with that. So that's X.
Yep.
How to be a dream recruit, which is a sort of be and have, be known as a dream recruit so that they can Z, get the college scholarship.
Yes.
And you can play with that. You can make it a little bit longer, get the scholarship to the college of their dreams, to the college program of their dreams, whatever you want to do there. But that's a pretty succinct way of saying you're in the right place if you want this.
Yes.
And you're this person.
Absolutely.
Okay. So that becomes sort of your elevator pitch, Jimmy. So if anyone's asking what you're doing, run a brand. Basically, I'm an expert at showing young athletes how to be a dream recruit so they can get the college scholarship they've always wanted. Oh, I have some good friends whose son is a pretty good player, junior high. So you can basically help him get a scholarship, and that's where you unfold into. Yeah, exactly. I mean, here's the thing. I can't construct his body differently. So I don't work on the physical. I don't create blue chip physicality. I create blue chip mindsets. And that allows these young kids to have the determination, resiliency, and self-awareness to be what every college recruiter wants beyond the physical. Because you can't imagine how many freaking Michael Jordans are out there in high school who never go anywhere because they have a shitty mindset.
Totally. Now, I've said that from the very beginning, that every year that I was in camp with an NFL team, there were guys who were better than me. There were guys that the team signed, whether they be right out of college or free agents or whatever, that I looked at like, shit, man, if this guy figures it out, I might be in trouble. But for whatever reason, these guys were lacking this or that or whatever, that in the big picture, they just didn't add up. And that's what they were missing. And at that point in time, obviously I was glad for it. I was glad that there was a reason why they weren't quite breaking through. But the point is, there are so many people at every level. And again, talking big picture, there are people at every stage of their life, in every industry, in every career, that are smarter, more creative, more talented, and better at what it is that they do than you might be. But what they're lacking are, some of those tools and processes, what you just called that blue chip mindset, that is the thing that puts them over the top.
Yeah. And that you're bringing up. Here's a talk, Jimmy, you can give right now is, why the most talented people, why some of the most talented high school athletes never get offered. Whoa,
Man.
whoa, why? I want to know that, right? So
yeah, and and also honestly, because I just went through this process with one of my nephews who had he moved to wide receiver his junior year. He had an okay junior year. He had an amazing senior year, and all of a sudden, here he is after a great year. Wasn't really on anybody's radar. Now he's like, now what? He didn't have a ton of interest, and so we just went through that process. And I wish that I would have had a program in place or somebody that could have helped us help him in that process, because he's kind of the opposite end of the spectrum. He wasn't one of those guys that was like a blue chip recruit coming in, and so skill wise everybody was like, oh man, this guy's a world beater. He worked his way through that process. He was a lot more like me, where he earned absolutely everything, and he had to try to convince people that he was worth taking a shot. And so there's two sides of it, right? I mean, there's the kids that have everything going for them, but they can't get out of their own way. And then there's the kids that are working their ass off just to get noticed.
Yep.
So we got to be able to service both sides of that.
Yeah, man, you're in a really juicy space. I have so much faith in this brand and this message, dude. You are the perfect messenger for this training.
I think so too.
Yeah. So here's, man, so I was talking about things that this homepage has to do, the little milestones it has to hit, persuasion, subconsciously, what we have to do in order to get that conversion. Two things. One, we have to create relevance and resonance. Okay, yeah, this is for me. Oh, I want definitely what they're offering. And two is the next question that always comes up is this guy legit? Can I trust this person? Does this person really know what they're talking about, or am I just signing up for some scam? Right? So people's skepticism is probably at an all-time high, and you're gonna have to. No, fortunately, you have a freaking story that's nuts and so freaking perfect and provocative for this story, right? So the thing you're going to do is you've created the distinction, the resonance, the relevance with that headline, subheadline, and right behind that, I want you to create a video. We talked about this offline, a 1 minute looping video, 1 minute, 30, 90 seconds, whatever you want, that loops, takes people through the journey. If you have some old footage of you in Pop Warner, to junior high, to high school, to college, to the pros. I don't know if you can get away with the pro stuff, but if you can somehow show that journey, we'll put that as a background video beneath that headline, and people will subconsciously get that, this guy's done the work. This guy knows what he's done. He made it to the league. Look how tiny he was when he was a kid.
Right.
So that will definitely bolster and solidify the sort of impression that this guy, I need to listen to this dude. And then underneath that, if we have some space, I have to think about the landing pages templates that you have inside of Squarespace. If you have the space, I'd love to just spell out your story a little bit. And that's what the 11-page content blueprint that Julia, our marketing copywriter, put together with me, will help you do on your about page. Think about that about page as a critical part of how it's basically telling the story that illustrates why your perspectives matter. Make sense?
Yes.
So two things, so we have some headlines here. We have a sort of brand slogan. That's the brand slogan, something we can put into the footer for now. It's not like your main thing, because people will be like, get what? What are you talking about? That's the whole get results, get it. That's what your overarching vision is for this brand. But that get the blue chip mindset plays on that nicely. Subheadline, I show young athletes how to be a dream recruit so that they can get this college scholarship they've always wanted. beneath that looping video of you, and then underneath that, your story of how you learned how to get a blue chip mindset and what that gained you. Sound good for a week's worth of homework?
I love it, man. It's great. Yeah, I'm going to be busy. But I'm done traveling. I got no more high school reunions. I got no more family vacations. And so I can be here in the lab and just grinding, man. I got a coffee shop right down the street that's good for that kind of work. So
and yeah, dude, keep posting. Like, you can post stuff that you want to get peer reviewed, just some feedback on inside the Facebook group. If you're not in the Facebook group, folks, go over to just search in Facebook for Freedom Lab Show and ask to be invited or whatever, accepted as a member of that group. We're just sharing links to our spending and income reports so you can see where we've sort of designated that this 10K budget should be spent leanly, efficiently. And then also we're sharing replays of the episodes there and feedback on stuff that Jimmy's working on. So Jimmy, you can even, if you want, post your affiliate link inside of the Launch 31 group to inside the Freedom Lab group on Facebook there, so that people can go and sign up for this program as well. That's nice. That's some more income coming your way. So
yes, sir. Hey, we love that, right?
Right.
I've been putting out a lot of money lately for this, so I'm excited to have something coming back in a little bit. It'd be nice.
Nice, man. Feels good, doesn't it?
Yes.
All right, brother. Would you want to recap what your homework is? Like, what are you going to be delivering by next week?
Man, I'm going to jump into the Launch 31 stuff. I mean, I'm as, you know, that to me, that's kind of the main focus of what I'm trying to do, to get, you know, to kind of get going on that, just to get an understanding of what exactly that is and how to do it, and really get that background of it. And, you know, I mean, the goal is by the end of the month, I think you said, to have that landing page up, right? So that's going to be my main focus.
Yeah, bud. All right, man. So like, how can I effectively measure the results you've gained with that weekly goal? or as some of our clients say, what's the deliverable?
What's the I love all those little lingo, those little catchphrases, man. Yeah. That's funny.
All right, man. So you'll have, how about having your about page copy done? Since we've already got your homepage masthead headline stuff dialed. Cool. That's a great deliverable. That's a big step, man.
Yes, sir.
All right, brother. I think that's going to end it for today's episode. Remember, you can go and subscribe for free if you're just watching this and you want to join live over at freedomlabshow.com. We are legit now. We got our own URL. You can check out what Jimmy is doing inside of our Facebook group. Just search for Freedom Lab Show instead of Facebook. And we can't wait to interact with you and share insights, answer your questions about how you can get started on this online business development and create your 6-figure online business in only 33 weeks. All right, peace, y'all. I'm Jam at Peaceful Media. Until I see you next time, remember to love more, play more, and do more good. Jimmy, I'm out.
I'm out.